So we're going to start off by creating a new circuit, which is a brand new thing for us. And we are going to bring in our Arduino UNO, which is our first block. And if I use 2 fingers, just like I'm scrolling, to zoom in and out, I can do it like that. Then I'm going to add a breadboard here. And again, I can use 2 fingers to go in and out. It's kind of hard to select the breadboard without selecting a pin, but that's how you can move it around. Okay, so now that I have these 2 basic components, I can get started. So the first thing we want to do is we want to add an LED, and the anode is positive and the cathode is negative. So I'm going to move this by rotating, and this is a cool thing to do. So you can rotate it around like this by clicking the rotate button around. I'm going to put a resistor in here, and I do want to rotate this resistor. So I'm going to start by putting the resistor here, but then I'm going to rotate it so it's sideways. Alright, and then I'm going to move it here, and I want the resistor to go right here. And then I'm just going to grab a wire, and I'm going to go from pin 2, and I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to put the wire right here. And then I'm going to put ground all the way over here to the negative, and then I'm going to put another jumper from here to the negative of this. So this is a basic BlinkyBlinky circuit. I like to call it BlinkyBlinky. Let's call it BlinkyBlinky. All right. So I'm going to explain what happened now. So what we're going to do is we are going to send a signal to pin 2, and that's going to send a positive charge across here, and then each one of these lines here is like a wire. So all these lines are connected, all these lines are connected, all these lines are connected, and so on. And then this entire line is connected, so as soon as you hover over it, you know that it's completely connected. This is totally connected, this is connected, and this is totally connected. Okay, so that's just an FYI for you. All of these are totally connected, but 15 is not connected to 16. So if you wanted to connect these 2 together, you would need to make a jumper wire. So if I click 18 and 19, now I've jumped these 2 together, so this whole thing is connected together. But I'm going to delete that because we don't need it. So going back here, 2 is connected to 14, and because this is all in one line, that means this whole thing is connected. And then through a resistor, our positive charge, so we come from 2 to 14, then it goes down here, and then we move over here, because this goes across the resistor, and then it goes to the positive, to the anode, and it goes through the light, and then it comes to the negative, which is the cathode, and then this line is connected, number 9, so that goes to this wire, and then from this wire it goes here, and then this entire row is connected, and this goes here, and this goes all the way to the ground. GND means ground. So that's this. And now, if I 3-finger click, I can move the whole thing around, so I'm 3-finger clicking now. If I want to move the wire itself, I click on the wire first, and then I click on one of the ends of the wire, and I can move it around. If I click on just the end of the wire, but I don't click on the wire first, it actually makes another wire, makes another like jumper. Like that. So we don't want that. Well, we might want that in some cases. Okay. So now that I have the basic board built, I'm going to build some code in here. So I'm just going to click on this code option. And I'm going to take this out, and we can delete it so we can drag it down to the trash box. So this is what's happening when it starts, and then it loops in a forever loop. So this is the basic Arduino pattern. So I'm going to first set pin 2 to high, because we're coming out of pin 2. If I would have moved that to pin 3, I would set pin 3 to high. So I'm setting pin 2 to high. Then I'm going to do a wait block. Oh, here it is. Wait 1 second. And then I'm just going to duplicate this whole thing. And I'm going to put that, and I'm going to set pin 2 to low. And then I'm going to move this whole thing down here. So now, forever, I'm going to set pin 2 to high, wait a second, and then set pin 2 to low. Who can guess what's going to happen? All right, now that I have this basic code built, I don't need to do anything on start. I'm going to start the simulation. And if we zoom in here, we have our BlinkyBlinky. All right. So I'm going to stop the simulation. Now that I have this, I'm going to go ahead and download the code. And this is going to download your Arduino code for you. And then we can actually set up an actual circuit board and test it out in real life. So there's BlinkyBlinky right here. And basically what BlinkyBlinky is going to do is when I click it, it's going to come here and it's going to say it needs to be inside a folder, and I'm just going to click OK. So it's going to put it inside a folder, and it automatically sets it up properly, and it goes to that void loop. So that's that forever loop, and it writes pin 2 to high, just like we have here. So we have pin 2 to high right here, and then it waits 1 second, delay 1000. And then we set pin 2 to low, which is right here, and then we delay 1000 milliseconds, which is 1 second, and that's it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to send it to my Arduino UNO, which is already connected. All right, so I'm going to click here in a second, but as you can see from my board, we have is set up in real life, and we have the same pin configuration. So if we look here, we have pin 2 connected to the light, connected to the resistor, connected to the positive of the LED, then to the negative, then to the jumper, then to the negative, and then all the way over to ground. So if we look over here, and if I put this in the same way, we have pin 2 connected to the resistor, connected to the positive of the LED, and the LED is connected to the negative jumper, which jumps over to the negative, which jumps over to ground. Okay, and the last thing I need to do is I'm just going to run the button now that I've selected Arduino UNO, which is plugged in. I hit this, and it does a bunch of stuff, and look at that. BlinkyBlinky is blinking. Incredible.